You know what? We had so much fun talking about Star Trek that we're just going to talk about things that are adjacent to Star Trek, possibly similar time frame. Are they inspired by or not? And somehow, Ian's going to tell me how Indiana Jones is only a possibility with Star Trek being made. So,
which one do you want to start out on?
well, I mean, I don't want to bury the lead, so may as well start with that one because I'm really curious as to how that works out in your head, what the justification for TOS to Indiana Jones is.
Well, the justification from TOS to Indiana Jones is as follows. TOS, or Star Trek, the original series, or those old scientists for our friends who like Lower Deck / Strange New Worlds, aired 66 to 69. Now, a few years later, i.e. 1977, A New Hope gets made. In 1980, Empire Strikes Back gets made. Obviously, the Star Wars franchise is not going to be made. Okay, when I say obviously, strong likelihood that Star Wars does not get made without Star Trek to begin the idea and push the culture forward. Now, interestingly enough, Raiders of the Lost Ark is 1981. This is not to necessarily say that it is a guarantee that TOS is the reason Indiana Jones existed. But if you look at George Lucas's filmography before Star Wars, he has a decent amount of projects, but they are a lot more smaller budget and smaller feel, with nowhere near the star power in the cast. He
didn't have wasn't crazy star power in Star Wars either. You had Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing, and that was kind of it.
Oh no, I don't disagree with that though. But when you talk about Indiana Jones though, the star power that Indiana Jones leveraged is, I would say, correlated specifically to Star Wars, and thus also going back to Star Trek. And I'm not saying that like George Lucas is the single-handed perpetrator of making Indiana Jones, work. Obviously,
Steven Spielberg definitely had something to do with
exactly.
that.
And that's not. And then also, this is to say, like, Spielberg might have also done it on his, by himself.
And Spielberg had already made Jaws at that point. Like, oh, what?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, exactly. So Spielberg was.
He was already like had his bona fides set up.
Yeah, exactly. He was already there. But like the duo that made Indiana Jones is definitely both of them. So I mean, like, I could argue, and I sort of actually kind of have, that without Star Wars and Star Trek by extension, Indiana Jones never gets made.
So the only thing that I definitely buy that Indiana Jones is easier to make because Harrison Ford is now a star, and he embodies the role of Indy very, very well. And the collaboration between two great producers and directors and storytellers of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg sounds like a no-brainer now, but the backing of Star Wars behind all those things made Indiana Jones, give it a leg up.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say it made the movie, but it's like having a father who's in Hollywood. Yeah, it may not guarantee your success, but you're gonna have a lot more access and opportunity than random, farm boy from Wyoming is gonna have. Okay, I definitely buy that Star Wars' success allowed Indiana Jones to be the success that it is, or gave it a leg up. But I'm not convinced that there's a good correlation between Star Trek and Star Wars. Like,
it's the George Lucas. It's Star Wars in its totality. Because like without Star Trek, Star Wars never gets made.
But why? Like it came out a decade later, basically.
Well, beyond Lucas's own words saying that he
was too early.
Beyond Lucas's own words saying that he was influenced by Star Trek, I think something needed to be first in this respect. And since history played out the way it did, I'm just going to...
Do you think is it maybe a case of it would have been harder for someone to take a chance on Star Wars if Star Trek hadn't already tried and failed and then was revived in syndication and became the success that it was?
Mostly, yes. I might differ with a few words here, but...
Yeah, that was kind of a weird run-on sentence that I probably couldn't replicate if I tried.
Yeah. I still hold pretty firm in the Indiana Jones directly owes its existence, or at least a lot of its existence, Star Trek, but not all of it.